Hi everyone, this is Aaron here from Acquire Property Group. I have a very special guest today. A question from a property investors on a lease option on how to approach a vendor on a lease option deal. Do you want to repeat your questions on the question you just asked me?
Hi, Aaron. Thank you for coming back to me. Yeah, my question actually is I'm going to meet a vendor. I dropped a letter to a vendor who rejected my first offer through the agent.
Yep.
Then I dropped a letter through his letterbox saying that I would like to meet him personally to have a face-to-face chat. So
Yeah.
I'm going to present him my lease option because he is not coming down from the price he is asking for. The property is not that much worth. For some reason, he is not coming down. So I thought I will present this lease option to make it as an HMO. That's
Yeah.
my plan.
Right.
But it looks like he's earning a good amount of money. I'm not sure. That's my guess. But he might ask me that, say if I'll pay his mortgage monthly,
Yeah.
whether he'll have to pay any taxes.
Yeah.
That's the question I believe he might ask. So in such situation, what you will be answering to the vendor?
Yeah, it's a really good question. That could, like, the vendor could be asking you many questions. It could be dozens of questions you might not know the answer, but that's not the key. The first thing is that my understanding is that it's the first time you're talking to the vendor. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's important in lease option deals. It's important to find out the situation about the vendor without guessing anything. Because you're assuming he or she got a mortgage, and there might not be a mortgage, right? So in a lease option deal, it's totally different compared to when you look for normal property deals. Because normal property, what you do is that you look at the property, you're trying to look at the potential. Is it below market value? Is that something you can add value? And then you try to maximize the floor plan, etc. So, but in the lease option deal, it's a completely different angle. Basically, the property is important, but it's a secondary. The most important thing is the people.
Yeah.
It's the person who own the property, it's the vendor, or the person who have control of the property. If someone else own the property, they have a say to what is going to make the transaction, right? So it's all about the situation of that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is number one. So forget about the property. So when you try to meet the vendor, ideally face to face, at some point, then you're gonna find out as much as you can about the vendor situation, right? So you might need to have a multiple meetings. So the first meeting may be just an introduction, like a brief summary of what is going on, but it's all about the relationship and the personal situations. That's the key. So don't try to assume, like, to think about what if they ask me this, what if they ask me that. The worst case is that you do not know the answer. If you do not know the answer, you can say, let me come back to you on that, and then you come back and ask your network and your power team, and then you get back to them.
Okay.
Right. So
I checked with. Sorry. Go on. Go on.
yeah, sorry, I just want to say that the most important thing is the people and the vendor, building that relationship. And to understand, the key question is really to find out what is the motivation of selling the property. That is the key. And then you need to find out that, do they need the money after they're selling the property? Okay. If they need the money to sell the property, it's not a lease option, because you're forcing it to be a lease option. If they're upscaling, it's not a lease option because they need the money as well. So the key is that to find out why are they selling, and basically to assess the level of motivation, how quickly they want to sell. Because if you ask the vendor, do you want to sell quickly? Everyone will say they want to sell quickly. But if you find out the reason why they're selling, you'll be able to assess how quickly they want to sell. Is there a time frame they have in mind? Do they need to sell, or they can just wait and sit there? And one question you can ask to find out what is their, basically, do they need the money, rather than asking directly, do you need the money after you sell your property? What I normally do is to ask them, what's your plan? What is your plan after selling the property? And then they would start talking about the plan. And then from there, you kind of guess, like, do they need the money? Or maybe they don't need the money sometimes. So the classic ideal situation would be, there's a highly motivated, they need to sell the property, plus they don't need the money. So there's a classic situation for lease option. It's all about the situation rather than the property.
Okay, all right, okay. Thank you. So yeah, this was the question was in my mind for some time, but then I thought I will ask you, like, experienced investors. So I'm still to find an answer for this one, but yeah. So obviously, I need to find out what is the situation is. Yeah. Thank you.
It's all start from this.
Yeah.
Blank sheet of paper, and don't worry about the property in the first place. It's more about relationships. The more you find out about them, the better you can structure the deals and solutions to tailor to their problem.
Okay, all right.
Okay. You might or might not get a lease option, but the key to get lease option is to direct to vendor. And then by having direct to vendor conversation, you'll be able to understand more about them and their situation, so you can tailor the solution exactly to what they need.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Thank
No
you.
problem.
Thank you.
Any other questions you have?
No, I hope I will be able to answer most of the questions with him, because I don't want him to think me as a scammer, because I have to be very honest, everything to help him, and also it should be a win-win situation. So that's the one thing I'm working towards.
Yeah, it's more about asking questions. The more question you ask, the more information you get. Of course, building the relationship with that person. Maybe start off with just general questions like, how are you getting on, like COVID-19, how is life, how is business, like just build that relationship in the beginning, and then move on to the property and well, not the property, I mean the situations, and get deeper, because it's hard to get into someone's to talk about their financial situation and real struggle if they need to sell the property.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
It helps. Thank you very much indeed. Have a lovely
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Right. We just had a call with a property investor, basically try to structure and approach a direct-to-vendor deals on a lease option basis. As I explained just now, it's all about the situation. It's not about the property. This is a creative and advanced strategy we implement in the UK in the property strategy. I hope it helps. And if you have any comment, let me know. And look forward to see you again.